Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Hello.
Hi.
Today I'm going to talk to you all about something that I'm really passionate about. I've only become passionate about it since I had to deal with it in my own personal life. I'm going to speak to you all today about arterial venous malformation. A lot of people do not know what that is, but today I'm going to explain to you exactly what it is. So on this skull, I just wanted to point something out to you. This is your temporal lobe right here. I want to point this out to you because this is the part that we're going to focus on. This is the only part I can tell you about because this is the part I'm passionate about because this is exactly what I had to deal with, this part here. Okay. Imagine going to the doctor, making several trips to the hospitals, to the facilities, to x-ray technicians, to have your son or your child constantly checked out and not to know what's wrong. And then after 3 years of testing, you find that your son has something called AVM, which is arterial venous malformation. Arterial venous malformation is an entanglement of your blood vessels in the brain, and they're all tangled up the wrong way. So it has too much blood going in places where blood shouldn't be, and not enough blood getting to places where blood should be. So that can be very dangerous. It sometimes has proven to be fatal, and it's very hard to treat if it's unnoticed for a long period of time. The reason to listen to this, I would say, because when I first started dealing with the whole situation, I was told that I was dealing with this because I had given birth to premature babies. His heart and lungs wasn't fully developed. They said this is one of the results of that happening, but through further testing, it came up that it could be something hereditary. It could be, possibly, from the fact that he was a premature baby, or it could be something that just happened. They really don't know where it really came from. But in my case, I'm looking more hereditary because a few people in my family has had the same issue. And I'm also looking into the fact that I did have a 2-pound baby, so that could play a big role in all of this. From the beginning of onset until it's actually settled and taken care of, it's very hard, it's very stressful, and sometimes you just don't know what's going to happen the next day. You have no idea. It's a lot of things you go through. There are many tests that they offer to you. Many tests. They offer the tests. You can opt to either have them or not. However, there are tests that I think everyone should take. Screening tests should definitely be done. If you are a person who have constant headaches, you have blurred vision all the time, you just feel nauseated, you don't know why, and it's like recurring more and more and more, you need to be checked because too many headaches can be, you never know what it could be. It could be you have bleeding in the brain, too many, episodes of just pure blurred vision can be something. So I think you should get it checked out. The reason I'm saying is because it happened to my son. He had complained of headaches for a very long time, and each time the headaches got worse, I just kept getting his glasses checked. He complained of lightheadedness, and I kept thinking at that point I thought the glasses were too strong, or if he headaches too much I'd give him Advil or aspirin, and things like that is really a bother to me now because I had no idea that he was really dealing with a medical condition. And I'm thinking, had I had him tested and treated earlier, maybe it wouldn't have been so bad. The surgery can prove to be a great help if your family opts to have surgery. However, there are other options. You can have the gamma knife procedure, you can have surgical procedures done, or you can just opt to take the medication. In my case, every case is case specific, but in my case and from my son, he opted to have the surgery because he wanted to just have the surgery, go through the recovery process, and get rid of the things that was not right in his head and just go on with his life. So in our case, that worked out fine for him. There are a lot of cases where the people opted to have chemo and radiation therapy for about 1.5 years before they tried the surgery. But in that case, I didn't want to do I was glad that he didn't do the chemo or the radiation. It would have lasted for a whole year. And if it would have failed, then he still would have to do the surgery anyway. So I would just like to say to all of you listening, if you know anyone that has had premature babies and the baby is not feeling well quite often, or if it brain tumors or aneurysms run, in your family, you should still get checked or have your child checked, because if aneurysms and brain tumors are hereditary in your family, it's very likely that somewhere down the line someone could pick up an AVM. Now, however, again, they're not too sure where they really come from, but because of my experience, I think you should just get it checked. In my situation, I had a premature baby. That's one strike against me. Also, I have a few family members in my family that has been diagnosed with the exact same thing, had the surgery and everything else. So I don't know if it's really hereditary 100%, or I don't know if it's really because I had a baby that was very premature, or I don't know if it's just something that happened. Again, there's no known causes, what really causes an AVM. Again, if you know anyone with things like that going on, I think you should get it checked. It's nothing to play with. One more thing I would like to point out to you. Also, like this lobe right here, this is called the frontal lobe. This is the frontal lobe, and my son's AVM was right here on the right frontal lobe. This is a very delicate spot for the AVM. Anything in your brain is delicate, but this right frontal lobe with that situation was very delicate because it started interacting with the central nervous system, and it caused a lot of issues. The surgery does have a lot of complications. That's left-sided limitations after the surgery, possibility of no speaking or slur speaking, and your vision will be blurred for a very long time. But after physical therapy and occupational therapy for a few weeks, whatever, you start to learn how to speak again. You start to get the feeling back on your left side. You start to be able to use your limbs and things again. So again, because I had surgery doesn't mean that if you know someone with it that they will have the surgery, or you should encourage someone to have the surgery. That's just what works for my family. Maybe your family could work with the medication or a surgical procedure, not just the actual surgery. So thank you for listening, and thank you for allowing me the time to explain to you something I'm passionate about, and to raise the awareness of arteriovenous malformation, also known as AVM of the brain. Thank you.